So, are you wondering if your cardio is killing your gains, or should you do cardio before or after your strength training? That's what we're going to talk about today, and I definitely have some information that might help you make a better choice and make better progress coming up. So what's going on? It's your dude, That Guy Health, ANBF Men's Physique Pro, about to step on my first NPC stage coming up this spring. Yes, I'm going to step up to the NPC stage. I will be going out to a show in Ohio. I will start prep in December, and with prep will come a lot of cardio, and that's what we're going to talk about today. When should you be doing your cardio? Should you be doing cardio even before your strength training, or should you just leave cardio alone altogether? And that really will depend on what your goals are. So let's go over a couple of things first. Let's talk about the body's natural selection of your energy sources, all right? Because when we talk about cardio, usually people associate another term with the letter C called carbs, okay? Carbs and cardio. So essentially, you're trying to put your body into a deficit utilizing cardio. Some people do fasted cardio, and we're not going to go into all of that, but using cardio to try to go ahead and decrease the carbs, get into the fat storage cells. So with that being said, we should definitely cover the priority of the body's source of energy, okay? So the body's first priority of energy is going to be carbs. It's going to look for carbs first to utilize energy. After carbs will come fat, okay? So then after the carbs is come fat, which is why we do cardio, to go ahead, get through those carbs, get to the fat storage cells to deplete those. Now, the last and most dire source of energy for the body to have to use, and I do mean dire source, this is when you go catabolic, would be protein. Once the body starts diving into protein, we are completely going against what we are trying to do if you're trying to get gains or you're trying to be more healthy. We don't want that to happen, okay? So we want to stay in the first two sources. So with that being said, we've covered that way or that order. If you didn't know, now you know, and maybe that might even help you better arrange your macros to reach your goals. So the next thing, we're doing cardio to try to lose fat. Just like I'm getting ready and prep for a show, I'm going to do abundant amounts of cardio, depending on some levels of people's abundant amounts of cardio, to try to go ahead and decrease my fat, get more defined, get more cut, get more carved up, all right? So with that being said, I'm going to probably utilize low intense cardio post my training. And if you take, for example, let's use track runners, for example, okay, just so you can see this, because a lot of people have the misconception that doing more cardio is like better. It's going to help you get more cut, more built. And that's not the case. And if we take track runners, for example, look at marathon runners. They do a lot of long distance running, a lot of cardio, but look at their body structure. It's not very muscular. They are very thin. Muscles are not very developed, and they're very slender. And if that's not the look you're going for, you should probably take that into consideration. Like, hey, these guys do a lot of cardio. Is that how I want to look? Versus the other side of the field, 50-yard, 100, maybe even 200-meter-yard runners. Look at their body form. Now, they're coming out very explosive versus marathon runners, very long distance, very calm, not very explosive, not very high intense, but 50-yard, 100-yard, 100-meter runners, they're coming out explosive. Muscles are kicking, power out of the gate. Look at their body frames, more muscular, more muscle definition, even in the delts, the bicep, the triceps, the quads. So with that being said, maybe a certain type of cardio might yield you better results, all right? We're talking about, instead of doing long distance mile running, which could possibly raise your cortisol levels, and we'll go into something about that in another video, we're talking about high intense or high intensity cardio, okay? So maybe instead of going for a run and a mile, maybe you go ahead and do 10, 15-second wind sprints with rest intervals. That might yield better results to you. And even if you do go for a mile, you walk it instead of running it, okay? So with that being said, those type of cardios, doing cardios in those fashions might yield you better results, and you might want to look at that and try it out. The next thing is this. Cardio will affect your gains if you are not doing it properly, okay? So I see a lot of people when I go in the gym, they'll go up and do cardio for like an hour, okay? Now this is on their strength training day. They're coming down to lift weights later. They'll go up for a complete hour, maybe 40 minutes, an hour of cardio, and then come down and try to hit the weights. Okay, this is the problem with that. If you're trying to gain muscle, That's your priority. I'm saying if this is your priority. If it's not your priority, then of course you don't have to listen to me. And maybe the other bits of information I'm going to put in this video might help you set up something else. But if gaining muscle is your priority, then we want to utilize majority of the energy that we did prior to the workout for gaining muscle, for strength training. Okay, so that means most of our carb, our energy source, we want that to be utilized when we're training so we can push as hard and as good as we can in this strength training to get the most out of it, instead of utilizing a good amount of that energy source in cardio first, then going to try to strength train, which now you've already tapped your energy source. If you're not half out, you might be all the way out, depending on how many grams of carbs you've taken in that day and what you've had 2 hours prior to the workout. Okay, so with that being said, you want to go ahead and skip the cardio out of the gate first with the strength training workout. You want to go ahead, get in, do a little minor stretching, some functional stretches, and go ahead and get your strength training on. And then after your strength training, go ahead and do your cardio. And even then, when you do it in that format, you'll be in what we call a fasted state, because now more than likely, hopefully, you have utilized majority of your carb source, strength training. Now you're going to go do some low intense cardio, and I mean by hitting the elliptical or hitting the stair stepper. And now we're going to start tapping into those fat storage cells, okay? Which got us a strength training, so we're going to get some hypertrophy depending on what your rep range is and what you're trying to do. And now post that, we're going ahead low intense cardio to get the body to still to utilize those calories, utilize those carbs, tap that fat cell. So now we get the look of full and nice curvature type muscles. All right. So if let's say that's not your thing, you're not really caring about building muscle, you just want to look real lean and defined to some magnitude, okay? So if you did cardio 20 minutes before, a little strength training, and then some more cardio, I'm not saying that that's the wrong way to go about it. I'm just saying that it might not be the best way to go about it. There are ways to get cardio within strength training. Remember, cardio is the cardiovascular system, and we want to raise that heart level up, tax that system so that it puts us in a state of we are exhausting energy, okay? Get that heart rate up. So you can do that in strength training. You know that, right? So what you could do in strength training is implement circuit-like training that will keep your body moving, elevate that heart rate, and in strength training, you can have a cardio type effect. Keep that in mind. So when should you do cardio? I do my cardio post my workouts. Now, other people I have been known, and this is when I was a little bit less informed, but I didn't have a real focused direction. I was just trying to stay healthy after several injuries I had occurred in the Navy, and my physical fitness and my physical appearance went to crap, and I was just trying to find a way to get that back up, okay? So doing high intense cardio where we're hitting tires, we're doing all types of explosive moves, plyo moves, and all of this stuff. That's okay to do. I would not say you should do it on the same day you do strength training. Remember, our muscles need time to recover. And if we sit here tearing muscle fibers, and I don't mean tearing them to the point you have to go to the hospital, but essentially that's what's happening when we're building muscle. And you're sitting here taxing your muscular system, and then you go and do high intense cardio, maybe the same day or the following day on that same muscle group. The muscle isn't getting the proper amount of time it needs to rest and recover, which is where low intense cardio like walking or stair steppers comes in to support that recovery, all right? So high intense cardio is not something you want to combine with your strength training in the same day, depending on what your goals are. So my goals, this is what I don't want to do. I want to build muscle in the build season and go into the season looking very full, and then at the right moment start sucking down the fat and just have that carved look, okay? So if you were going to do high intense cardio hit along with trying to do strength training, I would go ahead and find a day where I'm going to prescribe just for that, okay? I'm not going to do strength training, upper body, and then go do hit upper body the next day. I'm not going to do that. So what I would do is maybe I'm going to do my upper body. The next day I'm going to do my lower body, and then I come back, have a rest day, and then come back on and do some high intense cardio. That's maybe the way I would set it up, and I definitely would have to sit down and look a little bit more at what my goals are, my days are, to arrange that the most proper way for me. So listen, keep this in mind. Cardio can kill your gains depending on what you're trying to do. depending on where you install cardio does matter in your protocol. If you're doing it before, after, in, all of this stuff matters. What you have to do is find out what your goals are. And if you don't know how to do that, you definitely can reach out to me down below in the comments. You can go ahead and DM me on Instagram, even post on some of my pictures. I have various workouts that I do day to day on there, especially with my clients. And with that being said, you also can go over to the website. I have online coaching available for you. So you're trying to reach your goals, I can help you do that at www.thatguyhealth.com. I have plans. I have a fitness app. We can get you where you're trying to go. So on the tail end of every video, you know what I say. Be safe. Let's build together, and peace.